Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Mechanics Live. Coming up, we're going to take a first look at a couple of new features in the unified admin experience for Microsoft 365, which is going to give you a common entry point for we're managing of Windows, Office 365, and Enterprise Mobility plus Security. We're going to show you the updates to the Admin Center, where you can customize your view with tasks, insights, and usage reporting. More streamlined, user-centric management experiences to save you time with the most common tasks in a single view, and intelligent recommendations also guide you through not only first-time setup, but also ongoing configuration of a better end-user experience and better IT experience with intelligence infused. So to do that, I'm joined by Brian Besand from the Microsoft 365 admin team. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeremy. Great to be here. I've actually watched the show quite a bit, so I'm excited to actually be here on my first session working with you today.
Awesome, awesome stuff. So tell me a little bit about the strategy behind the Microsoft 365 administration experience. What's that experience like? What does it mean then for Microsoft 365 and all the Office 365 admins that we have here among us?
Sure. So Microsoft 365 is a new way for us to design and build and deliver and support what used to be three very separate products. And we're talking about Windows, Office, and Enterprise Mobility and Security. And all of that is really centered around the way the end user works. We want to kind of create a seamless experience that helps them be productive and secure. So we're thinking about that. That's a great experience for the end user. We want to build a similar experience that's centered around the way that the IT team actually works so that we can break down some of those silos among those products and focus on their teams and their tasks. So we used to have these 23 entry points, right? And a lot of you guys recognize some of those, portal.office.com, and then I go out to Intune, and then I go out to Store for Business. And what we're doing is really kind of centralizing those into one common entry point. Everybody goes to admin.microsoft.com. That's going to be the same for Office 365 admins as well. If you use portal.office.com, that's the same experience, right? This is what we're moving portal.office.com to. And around that one central point of entry, we've got 7 specialist workspaces that are really centered around the IT teams. So if we look at compliance and security, that's a really good example where compliance and security is not generally handled by the same team or the same person.
Right.
We've split those out, and we've made sure that there's an opportunity for everyone to really tailor that experience to what they're working on.
So why don't we take a look at what that new experience looks like?
Sure. So what we're looking at here is admin.microsoft.com. This is a preview that we're rolling out this week. So if you've already used this and it doesn't look exactly like what you've got, that's great. These are the new features that you're going to have access to, and I'll tell you about how you get access to those features in a little bit. So it's optimized for your everyday tasks, and we've built it to provide a tailored experience around the unique needs of your role or your organization. You can see links to the specialist workspaces over here on my left nav. So that's where we put things like device management and security. And throughout, we want to make sure that we're highlighting data that's relevant to you, provide recommendations on how you can act on that data. And we see some insights here, for example, threats that Microsoft 365 has highlighted. And we'll take a look at what those recommendation engines look like in just a little bit.
Okay. So why don't we start with the most common use cases. Oftentimes, you call it things like everyday efficiency or the things that you use every day. How are we making that kind of day-to-day workload easier?
Totally. So let's go back to admin.microsoft.com. And it's built around a system of modular cards. So when I first signed in, I had a very focused experience, and I had the ability to pull up new cards and really tailor this to what I really need to do. So in this example, I'm a global admin. I have access and rights to everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. And notice that I have this basic section up the top. That's stuff that I do every day, right?
Right.
And then we can tailor this if you're a security admin, if you're a report reader, if you're an Exchange admin. This experience looks unique to your task, and then you have further ability to customize that on top of it.
Okay.
So this is a mature admin center, and I've pinned things like users and billing. I have Office software deployment down here to see how we're working on adoption there. All stuff I look at really frequently. And again, I want to call out, I've got information security grouped, I've got this basic section. It really helps me think, okay, I'm going into this mindset where I need to do, Tuesday morning 8 a.m. stuff, or hey, I want to check up on what's going on with security. And like I said, when I first signed in, I only saw 4 cards here, really focused.
Yep.
Our studies have said, hey, if we give you a really focused experience, you get those important tasks done. And we walk you through things like adding a domain, adding new users, the really foundational stuff that you need to go from, hey, we just paid Microsoft to I've got a working tenant that's good for me.
Kind of like the out-of-box or the first-run experience.
Totally. We walk you through all that stuff.
Right.
So on your left nav pane, you're going to be able to drill down on things like billing or users. And again, we go down into those deeper specialist workspaces like security, device management, or even the Exchange or SharePoint or some of those more focused service level kind of things that you're used to. So let's look at another really common task. So user management, something that we know admins do all the time.
Right.
Something like 1.8 million admins per month go to this pane and do some kind of management task.
This is probably the #1 thing that you're going to do. And if you're a directory admin or you're using Azure AD, like this is one of the consoles that you're always inside.
Totally, and this is all your basic stuff. Adding and removing users, resetting passwords, troubleshooting licenses and devices. All of that centers around the user, the person, right? I'm not even talking about the panel, it's the human. So we've made some changes to what you see in this user tab. And the first thing we wanted to do is focus on these kind of big tasks. We know that a lot of enterprises want to be able to perform actions in bulk. I've got a big group of users. I want to apply some kind of change to that person. So in this list view, I can customize what fields I want to see, and then I can filter based on those fields. So in this case, this kind of scenario, I'm a global admin, and I manage my entire Australian office as a unit. I've gone ahead and built a filter already, so I know when I want to make changes to my Australian office, I can go straight to that filter and I can show all those guys. I can multi-select on those users, so if I want to, again, change licensing, set passwords, I can do that in this view. I can select multiple of those guys, and you'll see that things like manage their roles, manage their licenses, assign to a group, all pops up. And if that design language feels really similar to what we're doing in SharePoint, there's a reason for that, right? We're starting to pull some of these together.
Right, and these are some of the things that I'd probably be using pipelining inside of PowerShell and using the MS Online PowerShell Gallery module to do all of this. Now we can do this and kind of have that kind of bulk control within the portal without having to go into scripting or...
Totally, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is pull out what used to be these really complex giant tasks, put them right here in the graphical user interface.
Got it.
So let's imagine that I've got a really specific user, one person, he calls me and he's having problems and he doesn't even know what it is. We got to figure out how we're going to troubleshoot him, right?
Okay, let's see what happens there.
So Aaron calls me and I've pulled a bunch of information from what used to be different areas around the admin experience into this one view. And
this is a brand new view. This is something that we've never shown before, right?
This is a new view and we've got new stuff in here, right?
Okay.
So I can take quick actions, like I can reset his password, or I can block him, or I can just delete him entirely.
Right.
And I can see all the details about when he last signed in, where he came from, all that kind of stuff. But we're bringing in more information across devices and licenses and apps and other areas into this view, so I can pivot through here.
You can see everything about Aaron in terms of all the things that he might call you for in terms of help or problem, something with
the high level stuff. I can still go into Intune and all those other experiences that are really deep, but I can also get a lot of the really quick stuff done right here. So for example, I don't have to jump out to some kind of device management console of various tools. I can go right in here, I can look at Aaron's desktop and I can see, okay, that's compliant, he last checked in on this date, we know he last signed in from this. I have all that information right there, and if I want to, if something's wrong, I can reset his machine, or I can get him out of our system altogether and I can simply remove company data from that device.
Very cool. So analytics and insights, something that everybody's really thinking about lately in terms of how Office 365 is really using kind of analytics and insights to help understand what's happening with their users, what's happening in their tenants, how do they respond with it, all these things that we can power now with all the data that we have. What's new there?
Totally. So this is the other area. A lot of those common tasks are what we talk to admins a lot about. What's going on in my tenant is another great example of this. So every service, including but not limited to Microsoft 365, generates a massive amount of data, right? And it can be really overwhelming to know, like, what am I looking at? What should I look at?
Right.
What should I do about it?
Right.
So we're taking what we know about your user base, and we're crossing that with best practices from around the industry to surface the types of information that we think that you should be looking at. And then we're going a step further than that, actually. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center can actually recommend the next action that provides the best possible experience for your end user in your organization. So for my example here, when I go back to my Admin Center, I see a recommendation up here in the top section of my homepage. And this one's about some questionable activity with my users, where they're signing in and how they're signing in from. If I sign in from California at 10 o'clock and all of a sudden they're in Germany at 11 o'clock, something weird's going on there, right?
It's like a good use case for conditional access, maybe.
Right, we're there. So I'm going to see, all right, Microsoft 365, what do you recommend that I do here, right? So it provides me a little bit of information here at the top. What is this recommendation? What are these types of policies? And then it kind of gives me some options for the most common settings. And I now get to decide what I want to do here. I can dismiss this entirely. I'm not going to give MFA to my users. I can actually click in on customize policies, and it'll take me out of this experience and give me deeper granular control over who this applies to or what kind of things it applies to.
Got it.
I also have the ability to exclude certain types of users directly in this screen from applying these policies. But in this case, I think this is actually a pretty good idea. We're going to roll this out. It's going to be mandatory for all my admins, and then I'm going to have all my users enroll in it so that when something fishy does happen, they have MFA. They can use that second factor to authorize in.
Do you know that MFA, in this case multi-factor auth, actually helps stop 99.9% of the attacks that are coming in from identity vectors? So it's a huge thing to do, especially for admins. All your admin accounts right now should be MFA protected.
I did not know that. When we go back to Redmond, I'm going to email you. I'm going to get the source, and I'm going to work that into all the marketing materials we do from here on out. But in this case, let's go ahead and create that policy. Let's roll that out. So it's going out right now, and it's actually rolling that out to my users. And what it also did was pin a card to my dashboard to say, hey, remember you've enabled multi-factor authentication. But it's also going to give me a running tally of what's going on right there, right? So I can come in and I can look and I can see, man, that's a lot of flagged users and a lot of risky sign-ins that happened today. What's going on? If I want to do some investigation, I can click in. I've got other ways to access that information and see what's going on. We also provide a lot of usage data around what your end users are doing, how they're adopting your Office services, and what they're doing within that. For example, how are they communicating or how are they collaborating? We've got a set of predefined reports here in the reporting tab in the admin center, but you can also dive a lot deeper. If you want to create custom views, custom shares, if you want to do something we haven't even thought of with that data to ensure that you're really getting what you're supposed to out of the things that you're paying for, but also you got these services to drive some kind of digital transformation, right? Is that goal happening? You can pull that all out via Power BI, via Microsoft Graph.
So these are all great updates, and I'm assuming that this account that you're logged in with is a global admin. But what does it look like now that we can do kind of more RBAC style controls for different admin types? What do those views look like? Is that different?
Totally, and that's a really foundational part of what we're trying to build here, is we know not everyone is a global admin, and not everyone should have global access, right? So if you're a reporting admin or a billing admin or a security admin, we're going to provide you with a really similar experience. You're still going to come in at admin.microsoft.com, but you're going to see something that is custom to you. Both, we've provided you a startup experience that's tailored to what we know about your role, but we also let you customize it just like I customized my global account. So I've actually set you up over here as a security admin, and we can take a look at your screen and we can see the types of things that we see for you as a security admin at our organization here.
All right, so I'm in my brand new admin center, brand new look and feel. It does look pretty clean, pretty different. If I kind of zoom in here, I can kind of see a few things. Let me just look up in the corner of all the different things that I've got. So here I can see I've got a trimmed down kind of set of left-hand navigation items here just for me as a security admin. I can also say I can help users identify and classify sensitive information. Here I see all the unlabeled docs. It's using that intelligence again like we saw earlier to say, hey, there's potentially a problem that might arise because you've got a bunch of information that's out there that's sensitive, might contain social security numbers, credit cards, other information. We're actually able to see some of those signals and then basically give you a recommendation that says you should look at classifying that and taking those controls.
And we're trying to do that in a way that is not obtrusive, that is really beneficial to the end user.
Right, and if I look down here, I can see Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, some of the things that we're actually doing, some of the proactive things that we're doing to block malicious links and attachments or malware. I can also see, like we saw earlier, kind of flagged user and risky sign-ins. And it's always good to see here if there's no reported issues.
Always good to see a 0 incidents, right?
Right, so these are some of the kind of the customized views that I have then as a security admin. So this is really cool. We saw some brand new user experiences there to manage the user settings all from one place. We saw the kind of RBAC and trimmed down and streamlined support for different admin roles. What's the timing on all this stuff? Because I know that people are probably seeing maybe a few changes here and there in their admin center, but when does all this start to roll out?
Sure, so we took a look at a couple of the really key features that we want to show off, but there's a whole lot more that we didn't list here. So this public preview is actually rolling out right now. If you're a targeted release admin, you're going to be the first to see it. You may see it as early as later this week, but we're eventually going to roll that out to all types of admins soon. So when that preview does become available, you'll see a toggle in your left-hand screen here. And it looks very similar if you're in the older style admin experience. And if you flip that, you'll get to see the new design language, all the features that we've added, but you'll always have the option to revert back.
So you can always go back to the older version as you get comfortable with the newer version.
Exactly. We're managing risk. And as we get new features into that preview mode, and as we get closer to releasing this into general availability, we'll be updating the technical documentation. And we're going to show a link here in just a little bit that'll help keep you updated on what is coming out to that. So that preview is available to everybody soon. The most we're saying right now about real GA on that is H1 of calendar 19.
All right, so this is a great first look, kind of some brand new stuff here. This is all working code. So how do we make sure that admins can actually learn more, get their hands on some of this stuff? What should they actually be consuming then to make sure that they can actually start trying this?
Totally. So if you are an admin, if you're working in the admin center, start entering through admin.microsoft.com, portal.office.com, all those old URLs. A lot of them redirect, but this is really going to be the center of gravity for admin and Microsoft 365 and O365 moving forward. Keep an eye out for that preview toggle. That's going to be rolling out, like I said, to targeted release admins first and to everybody over the next couple weeks. As soon as you get that, go ahead and flip that if you're curious. You're not going to break anything. You're not going to affect your end users. You're not going to affect your other admins. Once you get in there, there's a feedback button in the bottom right, and we get a lot of feedback. We do read all of that feedback. There's a team of humans in Redmond, Washington. I'm on that team. We read those. We really do think about what you guys like, what you don't like, what you want to see in that admin center. So make sure that you're dropping us feedback in that way. And then most of all, I know there's a lot of Office 365 admins, specifically here in the audience, that are using that admin center but haven't yet kind of made the jump to Microsoft 365. Think about what adding enterprise mobilities and security and Windows onto Office, what that benefit is going to bring to your end user. So right now, in the experience, you can trial E3. We're working on bringing an E5 trial out very soon.
Very cool, good stuff. Lots of great updates. Of course, we're going to keep tracking all the admin updates for Microsoft 365 and more. Keep watching, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.
Thanks, guys.